Drinking my buddy's homemade wine, living Northwest wild. Hunting, fishing is my kind of style. I float the Wainuchi when it gets hot. I'm proud I own the things that I've got. I'm digging in moss bags up in the sand, and after work a cold beer in my hand, picking wild berries off God's land, and drinking my buddy's homemade wine in the Northwest wild.
Hey, good evening and welcome to Fish on Northwest, Wayne, England, and the one and only Tommy Donlin.
Hey.
Back in studio.
It is good to be back.
It's very nice to have you back, and based on the calendar that we had laid out, you are a week early. But when you tag out, you get to come home.
That's right.
So that's a good thing.
That's right.
That's a good thing.
Thanks for letting me come back. I thought you were going to disown me.
Well, I did not change the combo on the lock, so once you were in the door, it's not like I'm going to move your big carcass back outside. So here we are. Thanks for everybody tuning in tonight. Yes, we got a Hawks game on, and yes, we're going to keep abreast and apprised of the score, but appreciate everybody tuning in. We got a very special guest in studio later on tonight.
We do. Yes, indeed.
Yes, Dakota Poorman, become a friend over the last few months here in our jointly travels, and that kid's a character.
Yeah, I've learned this in short order.
Yeah, a few laughs at dinner time. No doubt,
and some things that will not be repeated on the show here.
We'd be like Josh in Facebook jail.
Yep, just like Josh.
For 30, just like Josh. Back in Facebook jail again. This is like his third time in jail.
Only this third?
Yeah.
In a month.
Yeah, in a month.
In a month. Third in a month.
Yeah,
yeah.
So he's,
that's what I thought.
He's got 9 accounts, and he lands them all in jail. It's impressive. But anyway, hey, hello to everyone tuning in. We got a lot of folks jumping on here tonight. So I want to welcome you. First time visiting the show, please give us a like and jump on over to our YouTube channel, Tommy, which is starting to grow, by the way. Continue to add more content there and hit the subscribe button. Follow our content. We like to try and release new and relevant content each and every week over there as well. And lots of getting a lot of feedback from folks, digging a lot of the how-to stuff you and I provide, a lot of the insightful information. That's going well. We'll continue to bring that to you. Help us support that effort and push our content out there. Give us a subscribe. And everybody goes home happy. All right.
Well, and even on that note, like if there's something that you do see on YouTube, right, that you're like, well, what about this or what about that?
Yeah.
You know, put it in the comment section. And the other thing is, if you're like, hey, this is great, but I'd really like you guys to do a how-to on X, Y, or Z, you know, put it out there.
Yeah.
Right. Let us know, and we can accommodate that.
We've been getting some of that. I've had a handful of requests on different types of knots. You know, with us. Josh, Jordan, and I showing some of our salmon fishing, river fishing here in the last several months. Different types of approaches, different riggings for vertical float fishing or bobber dogging. Hey, what knot do you use to do that? Hey, how do you tie that double hook? I'm going to actually make a how-to on a series of knots. We could attempt to do it live, but it takes one screw up in your knot tie and it's kind of a...
We should have a knot competition. And see, or not. Hey, touche.
We could.
See, you can tie the best knots.
We could. We could see which knots will hold best under pressure. Pull a little tension on them.
Yep.
So yeah, more insightful how-tos coming your way, definitely, as we dial in some up-and-coming fishing. You know, steelhead fishing's not too far away, Tommy, and one goal I have because of the lack of hunting opportunity as we get into true winter time, other than waterfowl, is to get your butt out in the drift boat with us. And so one, you can freeze it off, and two, catch a steelhead.
There we go.
That'll be a good time.
Never caught one.
Yeah, things to look forward to. Lots of steelhead presentation coming up here in the very near future, and some more bait curing stuff, and we'll just keep it going. You guys are digging the content. We're going to keep it going. And to your point, yes, if you have things you want to see, perhaps you've seen it elsewhere, but you want to see our interpretation of it or our how-to or spin on it, hit us up here on Facebook via Messenger. Always ask the questions because we often answer like 99 to 100% of them. And or over at YouTube, make sure you drop us a comment there or a question. We'll get back to you. With that, Tommy, I want to remind everybody that, hey, Fish on Northwest is presented each and every week by Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons Real Estate. located in Puyallup, Washington. And of course, our good buddies out there at Defiance Marine in Bremerton. Defiance Marine, manufacturers of the Arima, the Defiance, and of course the Covenant Allied, which is in build right now.
Yeah.
Mustang hardtop, 21-footer.
I'm excited for you.
I am just cannot wait. Had a great conversation with Bo the other morning. I'm going to be heading out there this next week, grab a little bit of video footage and some photos on the current status of the build, and then we'll follow it up a week later or so and just kind of grab a little bit of content that's relevant as the build's happening and deciding on motor package and where a few other niceties will be going. But that boat is going to be something to be held. I'm telling you what, I'm excited. So looking forward to that. Okay, a little bit later on here in the show, we are going to welcome our guest in studio, first time, Dakota Poorman. For those that are tuning in, familiar with who he is, if you haven't yet, follow him on Facebook, social media, Instagram. This guy freaking kills it, Tommy, on stage or in the studio. I'm telling you, the guy can not only play guitar, he's got some pipes. He melted out there. And saw him live a few times this past summer. The first time I saw him was in Buckley, and I was like, holy crap. This guy, and gives me a bad time because I'm old enough to be his dad.
Yeah, this is very true.
So, which is fine. He's here for a couple of days. I'm excited. We're going to get out hunting tomorrow. Going to go hit a couple spots, hike the hills, and put in some time for just because we got time to kill, and he's still got a tag in his pocket. So we're going to go see if we can't find Dakota a nice little west side blacktail here. We'll get into his story in a little while. He's a passionate outdoorsman, fishing and hunting and whatnot growing up. Although, like some of us too, and even my journey, you do that growing up, and you hit that point in your life where you're trying to get your hooks into your career, whether it's for you off to Nebraska for college for a number of years, or wherever you land, but you get a few years where your outdoor opportunities and just getting to it really becomes problematic, right? Yeah. He's chasing his music career, and for good reason, as he should, because it's his gift given to him. And he has a hard time at times getting out right now. And unfortunately, because of COVID and everything else, he is not on the road outperforming, doing his normal deal. I think, what did he tell us at dinner? 250 shows last year.
Yeah, unreal.
2019, right? So you were on the road a lot to accommodate that and earn a living, and you're working hard for it. Now he has a little time on his hands. So he's like, hey, him and his dad got out hunting again, hadn't done that in quite some time, and we're going to go spend a couple days hiking around and just, see if we can't find deer.
Chase Mr. Blacktail.
Absolutely. So
beautiful.
That's coming up a little bit later, but a few things going on. Yes, throughout the Puget Sound, Northwest, and beyond, we still, Tommy, do not have opportunity for clam digs. Domoic acid still rears its ugly head. The clam digs slated for December 1 through the 4th are canceled, and beaches will remain closed until December 12th. So that's a bummer.
There's still a lot of other shellfish opportunity out there, though. The crabbing has been phenomenal. Squidding has been phenomenal.
Correct.
My buddy Greg went out the other day just south of the Muckleteel oil dock, and they had a couple kids on board. They were going to play with sand dabs, and they could not keep the squid off of the sand dab rig. You wouldn't believe it. In the middle of the day. Middle of the day.
No nighttime, spotlight, all that stuff. Just middle of the day.
Yep. And they were actually some pretty good size, in the 10-inch, 11-inch range. Yeah. It's a pretty big squid. I mean, it's pretty good right now.
Awesome.
Yep.
I bet the kids had fun.
Yeah.
Huh?
We might have to do a how-to on squidding.
We may have to just go out and do that.
I think it's a good idea.
Be a good time, and then, you know what? Do a recipe of the week right there.
Oh, yeah. Calamari.
Yeah,
you bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
And the crabbing's been good. You guys got some crabbing done, and they're nice size, too.
We did.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Size winter crab. So got that going on, even though the clamming is closed. Hey, we got a number of coho limit increases taken off tomorrow, the 19th. Coho limits increased to 3 adult fish, which is pretty nice. Of course, right now, why wouldn't we? We got so much water, you can't fish unless you can focus on something like, the big Mother Sea out there with the dam on it and controls the flow. Maybe you can get some fishing in, but all your non-flow controlled rivers, natural rivers, very, very high water right now. Going to be a week or so until it starts coming down. We got forecasts for tomorrow, maybe a little bit of rain. By Saturday, substantially less. And as we go into the week, there's pockets of rain, but nothing like we've been subjected to this last week. But our coho limits increase on the Cowlitz, the Kalama, the Klickitat, the Washougal, starting November, 19th, through the end of the year, through December 31st. You can keep 3 coho on those rivers on the Washougal, it goes through January 31st. So there's definitely some coho around. Hatcheries have their take. These extra surplus fish are for the taking. So once the water drops, make sure you get out and get after them. Also on the Lewis, coho increased limit of up to 3, and it's actually 3 adults. You can keep 2 Chinook, 2 hatchery Chinook on the Lewis and a bonus coho, or you can keep 3 coho, whichever you like, with their hatchery fish. So the Lewis has a pretty lucrative limit starting tomorrow and goes through December 31st. Notification came out today, yesterday. As per usual, WDFW is pretty good about this. Fall trout fishing opportunities, man, off the charts. They do a nice job on your lakes that are open year-round, these seasonal lakes. This is a good opportunity, like right now. Well, maybe not like today because of the weather, but you get a couple of these windows with some nice weather, cooler temperatures, but sunny days, so they're dry. And we have a ton of lakes. There are 24 lakes statewide, and they are stocking over 140,000 trout. And they're nice size. Awesome. They're nice sized trout too. There's some jumbo fish in there, a nice mixture of 12 to 16 inch fish. And if the rivers are blown and you want to go fishing, you haven't winterized your boat, or you just are one who runs your boat throughout the winter from time to time. Not this year for blackmouth, unfortunately, but trout fishing on these lakes is not a bad option, and it's a good opportunity to get back out on the water.
So just 1 minute. What's your go-to rig? You're taking some kids fishing and get some trout. What are you going to hook them up with?
I'm going to start. I'm going to keep it up pretty shallow to start with, and see if they're up on top. Most of the time, this time of year with the water cooler, I will. And you just, even 50 feet behind the boat, little flatfish. I really like those Maglip 2.0s, 2.5s. Okay. Those work fantastic. Put a little scent on them. Or you just use your typical, almost like kokanee rigs. You throw a little dodger out there with some type of squid, a little hoochie spinner, and a wedding ring with a night crawler. You can use a hoochie spinner with even your scented corn, pretty much like your normal kokanee rigs. Because let's face it, when we're fishing kokanee and there's trout around, you tend to catch a lot of trout if you're in the right depth of water column. So remember, if you go back like 180 to 100 feet and you're trolling 1 to 1.5, which you can speed it up a little bit for trout too, though this time of year when it's a little colder and they're a little colder, I tend to slow it down a bit because they're not as aggressive as swimmers. But
so about 1? Yeah,
I do 1, no more than 1.5. And if you're using a dodger and you're 100 feet back, it's going to take it down anywhere from 8 to 10 feet, depending on size of dodger. So that's going to be right in the wheelhouse.
Okay.
If you are marking a ton of fish on your finder, man, then drop down to them, get them on the downrigger, and go down after them. And you're usually going to find some of those bigger fish down just a little deeper. So it's just a great time to go out there and get some of these fall fish. And they actually, especially if you get into some of those holdover fish that were planted like last spring, they're going to have nice color to them, really red meat. They're going to actually taste pretty well. You cook them up on the Traeger or something, you'd be surprised. They have decent flavor because the water temperatures aren't, surface temp of 70, 75 degrees. So it's really not a bad thing to go do. And or if
definitely not.
You just want to get out and have some fun and get some halibut bait in the freezer.
Yeah,
you got that going.
More opportunity, the better.
So there you go. Hey, I had put a post up on Facebook the other day. Had a couple emails come through. And again, as I have talked about a few times here on the show, maybe a month or so ago, had our buddy Larry Phillips, Region 6 Director at WDFW, on the phone to kind of catch everybody up onto the status of the Skokomish River. This is kind of a point of contention for Medi, simply because it is officially now 5 years that recreational anglers have not had access to that river. They are dumping a ton of fish out of those hatchery systems. And yes, we get it, and we've talked about it before. Those fish, as they migrate through from north to south Puget Sound, we as recreational anglers have opportunity on it. We, as in those who have boats and are equipped to go out and do that. For those that are bank fishers and or rely on some of these local fisheries from the bank, and that is one that was for years one of their go-tos, it's been taken away from them. And so with this being caught up in litigation, to WDFW's credit, and I know at times people like to throw rocks and bash them, but they've done pretty much everything they could to package this up and land it here at the federal level, waiting for a decision to be handed down. They even hired additional folks to come in and take a look at it. A historical anthropologist took some data from the late 1800s, the times the treaties were written, the boundaries that were mapped out at the time. Look back at the historical data that's available, took into account today's locations, did some surveying, coupled it all together, and they basically packaged it up and said, here you go, feds. It is within the right of WDFW to continue to have access to that land. Skokomish tribe is claiming that the Skokomish River, I mean, it is tribal on the other side. That is reservation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But they went from mid-river to the far side to say that boundary line is ours. And recreational fishers cannot be on that land, even though it's private land. Hunter Farms, for example. So it's been in litigation for 5 years. Folks think that, WDFW just walked away and they're not fighting for it. But in fact, they are. They went through the effort of hiring the anthropologists and digging up all the information and put it out there. And it shows historically that, no, this is, your boundary line is here. Mid-river or wherever that lands is where it is. And the Skokomish tribe is wrong. So waiting for a decision on that. Well, while that is pending, the Skokomish tribe decided within their right to fire off a letter as of late, reminding WDFW of their position. And their position, and this is where I start getting concerned, okay? And that's why I put the post out, so I want people to understand where this potentially goes, because it's important. They're stating that WDFW is to repel the false claims of this boundary dispute. This is a federal land boundary dispute. The tribe is advocating that WDFW needs to pull back, withdraw their false statements on the boundary. And if they don't, they are going to move forward with pulling off their agreement to the LOF, the list of agreed to fisheries. Now, when you read that official document that came from the Skokomish tribe, which is in their right to do so, I mean, it's litigation, right? They're firing back and forth. They said their intention is within tribes to withdraw that list of agreed to fisheries. Understand, as we've helped educate you guys previously, when it comes to north of Falcon, the NOF process, the LOF, the list of agreed to fisheries, is like one of the main points that they wrap their hooks into. Without that, you don't move forward with dividing up the fisheries. You don't move forward with going to NOAA for your permits to say, we are in agreement on these fisheries. They all fall within conservation restraints. They take into account the ESA listings of these stocks of Chinook, Trout, Puget Sound, all of that. And without that presented to NOAA, you don't get permitting. And this is what we were subjected to in 2016 under Unsworth. They came to the table, WDFW held firm, we're not agreeing to these fisheries. Tribe said, okay. And for those that forget all too soon, in 2016, we did not fish at the start of our salmon season. And it not only affected salmon fishing, but any body of water where anadromous salmonids are traveling through. So Lake Washington, Lake Sammamish, all those fisheries were closed down. Bass fishermen, perch fishermen, all shut down. Trout fishing couldn't do it, right? It affected more than just salmon fishing, Tommy. So when the Skokes put in a legal document, fire it back to WDFW, we are telling you to withdraw on your false claims, as they deem it, or we'll pull back on our list of agreed to fisheries. I've asked a couple people, they're still waiting for official interpretation, but they don't know if that means Skokomish tribe to WDFW in that category of list of agreed to fisheries, or if it's all encompassing. If it is list of agreed to fisheries across the board for all treaty tribes united under Northwest Treaty Tribes, that's concerning. And I'm not throwing out like the I don't know, hard line on legal jargon here. I'm just saying I have yet to get a defined answer from those that are trying to figure this thing out. If that's the next chess move on the table from the tribes, people need to be concerned, because, as I just mentioned, if we can't get past the loaf and we have north of Falcon coming up after the first of the year, we're in for a fight.
Right.
And this all stems from this little Skokomish River that sits there, and we're in a federal land boundary dispute that after 5 years is still not.
Why did it only come up 5 years ago?
I'm not sure. it just, all of a sudden, the Skokomish tribe decided they did not want recreational opportunity having access to their body of water. Now, keep in mind, there have been millions of dollars poured into those hatcheries that support that basin and that fishery. They have upped, and I went over the numbers when I had Larry on, they have upped the amount of fish released to include coho, chinook, chum, and sockeye. They reintroduced the sockeye program, and there was actually news this last year, the first returning sockeye made it back to the Skokomish River, which is exciting. Yeah. And we should all celebrate those types of victories. But I have a hard time when the money comes from state and federal dollars, supports the hatchery programs, and we have a single tribe that has the only access to that opportunity within that terminal fishery. Because, again, like on the heels of Northwest, or Fish Northwest, they're in that lawsuit right now. They entered into the district court in Seattle about unequal distribution of our fish throughout the Sound, right? There's a good reason to support them in their effort. And having Mark on the show a few times to describe exactly where that's going. People need to pay attention to that because it's very important to see where that lands. You can get upset and get on there and tribal bash and all that stuff. You do it on our site, we're going to remove it because it serves no purpose. That's not what it's about. It's about frustration. It's about bolt decision, 50%. Where's our 50%? How is it? Okay, if you have time to kill and want to really, get your hooks into and understand, look, tribes are entitled to 50% of the naturally produced fish in the state of Washington and 50% of the hatchery fish produced. Okay, 50%. Well, it's 100% federal and state funded and produced, and yet recreational in that terminal fishery has no opportunity. No opportunity. So it's a bit of a rub point for me and many others. I'm not sure where it's going to go. We've got a lot of people chiming in here, which I appreciate. We'll try to get to some of these statements and whatnot at the break. I'm just trying to bring folks up to speed. I put that post on Facebook. It started gaining quite a bit of traction. CCA even grabbed a hold of it and said, hey, you know what, that's what needs to be said. And it's, I bolded it right here, to oppose the submission of the joint tribal and state list of agreed fisheries. To me, Tommy, that language is strong and it's concerning. And if I'm putting my foot in my mouth and I'm going to piss, I don't know, maybe Nate Pamplin will think I'm barking up a tree here, policy director for WDFW. But I think it's worth noting the language that has been presented, and it's public documents. There's nothing kept under wraps here that we're unveiling. It's just a lot of people don't know where to go get this stuff, and I for one think it's important that we bring this out to keep you folks educated. So,
well, if you can't get them on the river, you're going to have to get them in the salt.
For those of us that have boats, and that for those that say, well, if we can't access them on the river, then just stop producing the fish. It doesn't work that way. No. Because that puts so many fish North Puget Sound all the way down through to get to Hood Canal, come around the corner, and then enter into that particular body of water. So it's a bigger picture than just the Skokomish River. It's a bigger picture than just Hood Canal. It's a Puget Sound-wide agreed to stocking program, supplying the fish for various reasons. It's more than just the tribes. But when it comes to that direct, immediate terminal area, it's a rub point simply because we don't have access.
Is that the only case where we don't have access, or are there other cases?
So this last year, and that is one of the discussions we had with Mark in reference to this lawsuit. Blackmouth fishing is closed down right now. That came out of last year's NOF process in finding which fisheries could be conducted, and the tribes pushed back hard for whatever reasons they had to say we have certain fish runs that we want to protect, and we think a winter blackmouth fishery should not be conducted, and to allow recreational opportunity, San Juans and Area 9 and Area 10 to be conducted to the seasons that were set. WDFW had to give up the blackmouth fishery, or we wouldn't have landed there. The season before, think about what happened in San Juan. We had a whole month of August with no fishing, and the folks on committee who helped structure season in Puget Sound did not want to go down that road again. Too much money at stake for business owners, Friday Harbor, hotels, the whole deal. The whole. It's just a network of persons that are out of money big time when you shut down a full month of primetime Chinook opportunity in San Juan Islands. Think about it. Right? So we don't have the blackmouth fishery right now. We also had an in-river closure on the Puyallup this last season here, mid-September to the end of September. Prime time coho opportunity, 2 weeks, complete shutdown for tribal fishing. And I had walked down that path to remind folks that we have been accustomed to the last several years, for quite some time now, where we split time on that lower 7 miles of the Puyallup River, 3 and 4 days. We're on the river 3 or 4 days. Tribal gets to conduct a commercial gillnet fishery, and we've just become accustomed to that. Years ago, it wasn't like that. Everybody just fished. The tribe would net 3 or 4 days. We're fishing. It kind of became, as it's been deemed, as a gear conflict. So the resolve on that was, well, we'll split time. You guys get a few days, we get a few days, no gear conflict. And for the most part, folks are accustomed to that. And then all of a sudden, out of negotiations last year, oh, by the way, the 7 miles from the Main Street Bridge all the way to the mouth is closed down for 2 full weeks. No recreational opportunity. So it's just this, they keep chipping away at
a little bit at a time.
Right?
Yeah.
And we know how it goes when we lose something.
Oh, yeah.
Very hard to get it back.
Yep.
So, and you know, the feds tend to drag their feet on some of this stuff. And unfortunately for us, fortunately for the tribes, more times than not, it seems at the Fed level, they side with the tribal treaty rights. And I'm all for that as long as it's fair. As long as it's fair. And just close down this Skokomish River, which had been open to recreational opportunities since the 1800s. All of a sudden, in 2015,
it's all of a sudden not allowed. Yeah,
it's all of a sudden not allowed.
Right.
So, boundary dispute at the federal level. Thank WDFW for putting up the fight, spending the money to bring in the anthropologists, digging up the research, digging up the data, and presenting it in a court of law to try and get us our fishery back. All right, ran a little bit over, but that's okay. Jump out for a quick break. We come back. We're going to dish you to a fine young man. Hopefully he doesn't drop too many swear words on air. That's probably not going to happen.
We're live and we can't
in a scholar.
Edit this.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Lots to talk about, a little music to play here. That's why Tommy's guitar is sitting there.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Bust out a few live versions tonight. Dakota Poorman. We come back after this break right here at Fish on Northwest.
Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Whether you are looking for a small skiff to fish the Sound or rivers, or a huge offshore tuna machine, Defiance Marine has it. At Defiance Marine, be sure to power your boat with a Honda outboard package. Take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty on your Honda outboards. Our service department is always here to help and serve you as the customer. Did you know Defiance Marine has boat financing experts to help get you the best term rates on your new boat purchase? If you need financing for that new boat, call us today. We guarantee the best price, best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine also carries all the gear that you will need. Everything from auxiliary kicker motors to fishing tackle and bait. Defiance Marine has certified technicians that are top-notch at their job. Some of the best in the Pacific Northwest at evaluating your boat issues and problems. Stop in today or give us a call for all your needs at Defiance Marine.
Must be those.
Hey, welcome back to Fish on Northwest. We're with Tommy Donlin and our special guest first time on the show, Dakota Poorman.
Thanks for having me, man.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Huh?
I'm feeling good. I look good. I got a mullet.
You do look good.
I got the same mustache. I know, right?
It's phenomenal.
That's
my freedom flap.
Yes.
Jealous. Hey, let's flip that mic up and try to get it off your shirt.
Let's try and do that.
Somehow.
Let's fix this.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
I got an idea.
There you go. Pin it right there and don't move.
Just don't move. We're good.
Yeah. So, ran into you out there on the old Colt tour. Mm-hmm. You put on one hell of a show, man.
We try.
Yeah.
We try to when you haven't played since March.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, you get a phone call to open up for Lauren Colt.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll do it. You want to do a practice? Nah, we can wing it.
And you know, to your credit as a true professional musician and one who wants to be on par, like every time you perform in front of people, I came up to you after the last show and we were in VSN hanging out, and I said, man, you guys that was freaking awesome. You sounded great. He goes, tonight? Dude, that sucked.
Yeah, we were. I felt like I was a little off that night, and I just felt like, you know what? Could have been better, but you win some, you take some on the chin.
Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, people love you. You put on a heck of a show. Sherry and I have had a great time every time we see you.
You guys are awesome coming out and supporting us, so I appreciate that. Especially having me on here. This is awesome.
This is easy.
Yeah.
This is way easier. I mean, I'm like, you got a producer that deals with all the technical stuff. I have to deal with all the technical stuff on my own.
Right.
Yeah, we got the easy part here. We just talk.
Yeah, we just talk. We just
Josh handles the heavy
Josh
lifting.
handles all the...
Got to give a shout out to Josh back there.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's introduce you to the folks that really don't know. I mean, you're a local kid.
Maple Valley.
Yeah.
Yep. Right by Renton. If you guys don't know where that's at, so little east of Renton.
And what high school did you go to?
I went to Tahoma, and that's not Mount Tahoma. That's Tahoma in Kent.
Correct.
So.
Did you do any sports in school?
I did. You would never know by looking at me, but I did 4 years of swim.
And chess.
Yeah.
My brother was a chess player. I'm not a chess player, but
Portland's are smart, huh?
I did baseball, and then I did a little bit of football, but I mainly stuck with swim, and then
Did you pitch?
I did, but I was mainly better in the outfield because I had the arm to toss it at home.
Right.
Oh, you did swim. That wasn't a joke.
No, I do. I'm with the state too.
Oh my goodness.
I was the state with my team.
I'm just trying to figure out how you got
You
that
fooled
hair.
me.
How you got that hair under the swim cap.
Yeah, you told me earlier you did baseball.
Hey man, I did that, and I've shaved my arms and my legs one time, and I'll never do it again.
I know a certain running back that did
some
that
guy
too.
at Decatur, because that's where they held like the Goodwill Olympics, because at Decatur in Federal Way, and that's where the state meets would be held at. And some guy's like, "Have you ever thought about shaving?" And I'm like, "No,
Not a chance.
But I mean," he goes, "Man, I'm telling you, drag." You'll lose you'll lose some time. I'm like, okay, I did it, and for about 2 weeks after, I'm like, God, this sucks.
How did you do at state?
I can't remember exactly since I've drank and slept since then.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that I think we came in second or third or something like that. But
music bug in high school, choir and all that stuff, or what?
I did do choir.
How'd you develop the pipes?
Just not getting my way when I was a kid.
Oh, just screaming loud.
Just screaming loud. I want to go hunting.
When'd you pick up a guitar?
I picked it up when I was 7. And it was always something that I always kind of just drew a focus to, and it was just because it made sound. I mean, of course, I'd like stuff to make. I'm gonna move this real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since I'm sitting on Lauren Culp's blanket.
It's been claimed.
It's been claimed.
So for me, trying to play guitar as a kid, just not enough discipline. I was always distracted with all other things.
I was too, and I grew up, and I mean, everyone gets mad at me for saying this, but I feel like I grew out of my ADHD phase. But I mean, like, I'm just an on-the-go kind of person, and this is kind of a thing that's kind of centered me. It's got me through a lot of stuff, and if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be here.
Now, did you start with guitar, or did you start with...
And so I started with the guitar when I was 7 years old. I took a month worth of lessons from Dace's Rock and More Academy in Maple Valley. And about a month worth of them, I was like, I can't do this anymore. My hands hurt. Like I just wasn't in love with the guitar at that time. Mm-hmm. And so I set it aside, and I did sports, baseball, all that stuff. And then it wasn't until about 13, 14, 15, I started really liking records, and I got into Fleetwood Mac, Bob Seger, AC/DC, Queen, like all. And my mom was classic country, my dad was classic rock, so I just got a mixture of all of it. And it wasn't until I heard one of the AC/DC records, I think it was like Shoot to Thrill or something like that, and I was like, I want to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big, loud guitars, cranked, dimed all the way to 10, just blowing the eardrums off of people. And I got better at the guitar because I would sit and I would practice every single day in my room.
Oh.
And like as Ted Nugent says, if your fingers aren't bleeding, you're not doing it.
Right.
You're not playing.
Yeah.
And so everything that I've learned so far, I mean, other than taking that month worth of lessons, I've taught myself everything.
That's phenomenal.
And everyone gets weirded out by, I'm like, I'll be sitting playing a song that's on the radio, and they're like, how do you do this? I'm like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's that gift.
Yeah.
You hear that note and you know exactly which string, right? Or,
Yeah, it takes me, I mean, if it's a complicated song, I mean, it'll take me a second, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, you can definitely play that guitar. It's impressive. Does your mom sing?
My mom...
Anybody else got pipes in the family? Or
No, they don't really sing. It's just the fact of my mom. I mean, she'll sing around the house, just like we'll play a game of like, who is this? And she hates it, but she still plays it.
Right.
So she's like, I don't want to play. Oh, Glenn Campbell.
Glenn Campbell.
Yeah.
Not Snoop Dogg, Gin and Juice, none of that.
Right.
Oh, my mom and dad would have skinned me alive if they heard what I was listening to, if I heard that stuff.
Apparently right now, though, apparently right now that Glenn Campbell fan is watching the Hawks game. So just
Yeah, I know. My mom sends me a text and goes, you're supposed to be on a show at 6. You know the Seahawks games starts at 5. I'm like,
we know.
Thanks, Mom.
So your dad brought you up fishing, hunting?
My
Getting
dad,
out a little bit, your grandpa?
and actually my mom did a lot of hunting too. And
she did?
my mom, my uncle, my dad, and we kind of, it's a very family oriented. It's like a thing that pulls everyone together is the fishing and hunting and camping and horseback riding. I grew up with horses and stuff, and my dad kind of made me an ultimatum one day because I wanted to get a motorcycle, and he was just like, okay, well, it's either keep the horse or get a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, that horse went away. And now thinking back, I'm like, I really wish I would have kept the horse.
Let's see, 1 horsepower or
Yeah, you could probably afford a motorcycle for feeding a horse for 1 year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's ridiculous how expensive it's gotten.
Hey, we got somebody on here saying you need to perform a watershed.
That's funny that they say that because one of the sound company in Tenino, the guy that was running sound, and we were talking, and he's like, yeah, this is my stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is all your system? He goes, yeah. Maybe you've heard of us. I was like, he's like, we do all the sound for the gorge.
Oh.
And I was like, I would love to play Watershed. He goes, you haven't played Watershed? I thought that's where I knew you from. I'm like, no. I said, my buddy Austin Jenks has played there. He goes, oh, I know Austin.
Yeah.
He played the Next from Nashville stage. That was my system. I was like, well, hook up, brother, up.
Yeah.
And he was really cool. He's like super subtle about it. He's like, come next year, give me a call. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Done.
You realize, Tommy, as I retire in about 18 months, I already got a gig driving bus.
You do.
He's got to fight my dad for it, though.
Yeah.
There you go.
Me and Pops are going to.
There you go.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you can't drive all night. Somebody's got to take some.
Yeah.
So,
Tommy,
Fish along the way.
you want to drive the bus?
so what do you, obviously the last several years being on the road as much as you do, we talked about how many shows you do. You're just not able to get out and fish and hunt as much as you'd like to.
No, and it's actually weird about it because my dad and I, we've been talking about going to Montana for a hunt for like 2 years, and it's never really, it came to fruition, and so this year it was just like, no, we're going next year, and he was just like, okay.
Set the date on the calendar.
And he goes, we'll start planning it. I'm like, yeah.
What do you have more of a passion for, fishing or hunting?
Probably hunting.
Yeah?
I love being in the mountains. It's something that's serene, peaceful, calm. And I think for me, as being a very outgoing, like kind of center of attention, like I like to be that person, but at the same time, I like to be by myself sometimes. I like to take a step back, but it's like I've gotten told so many times, it's like there's a difference between being a musician and an entertainer.
Sure.
And that's where I strive. It's like I make it about them. I don't make it about me. It's about if you have a good time, then I have a good time.
Yeah.
And I feed off of the crowd. And if they're having a good time, then it just makes everything what I'm doing worthwhile, and it makes me happy. But being in the woods is something that takes me out of that element of being rowdy, exciting, and just kind of bringing it down and just making it one about nature. And I know that sounds really weird, but it's just like, oh man, he's really getting deep in this stuff. But it's like, no, it's just something that I love to chipmunks, just the rustle of the leaves, like a turkey gobbling off in the distance. It's like, that's awesome.
Trust me and Tommy get it. I have to have some release from the fire department.
Yeah.
I mean, for crying out loud, we had 2 shootings yesterday, and it's like, okay, 33 years of this, and another cardiac arrest, another this, another that, and to be able to come home to the lake, unplug, plan on our days to get out fishing with the crew or get out fishing with buddies. Sherry and I hit the road, go do something, whatever, or just plan that next hunt. It's just, and Tommy's same way, you can only engineer your brain so many hours in a day to where the propeller locks up and you need to just go do something. We're fortunate here in the Pacific Northwest because we have so much opportunity to do stuff.
And that's a lot of people don't realize that. It's like we are so lucky, but it's like some things we kind of take for granted.
Absolutely.
It's like we have the most scenery, the most access to fishing and hunting land, but it's like, cool, we got all that, but it's like if we can't regulate it and conservation wise, it's like it's not even worth having.
That's a good point. I mean, we have 7.5 million people here, right?
Yeah.
And we're dealing with stuff right now in history that we haven't been subjected to before
In a long time.
And part of that happens to do with who's currently sitting in the governor's house. But
don't get me started.
All this stuff, opportunity in Washington State, and we're the only state in the entire nation that shut down fishing and outdoor activity. I mean,
so it's like that's kind of like I don't want to say it, but it's like a God-given birthright to do all that stuff. It's like, what do you think they did in the 1700s?
It's a primordial right.
It's like you're going to shut down the restaurants and people to make their living and feed their families. It's like, so then you're going to go shut down a way that they can actually feed their families?
It
doesn't make sense.
So, hey, you got a guitar sitting here.
I do.
You got a couple songs you want to belt out tonight?
I can do that.
We got a couple minutes before we're going to jump out for a break, so long as we get that thing going. Warm up them pipes.
Warm up the pipes, that's why we got this.
Oh, there we go. Add another bottle to the mantle. Ooh,
exactly.
There's the next song.
That's the next song. Bottle on the mantle.
Six. There you go.
We'll kick it off with a fast one. This is a song that I wrote down in Nashville with my producer Malcolm Springer at the House of Blues, and the guitars for Big and Rich played on it, and he was just plucking away. I'm like, oh, we can write something like this, because he wanted to kind of base it off of an old AC/DC song, and we came up with this, and the song is called Best Mistake. So here we go. All right. Honey, shake it for me. Drop low with them tight blue jeans. Pretty girl in your cowboy boots. Southern born with a rose tattoo. Girl, you don't know what you're missing. You're the drug and I'm addicted. 'Cause girl, you're a fever running about 103. I'm the match and you're the gasoline. No, I don't care what tomorrow brings. I ain't talking love, I ain't talking fate, I ain't talking about no diamond ring. I just wanna be your best mistake. Hell yeah, like what I see. The way you move is working for me. Swing them hips side to side. Undress me with those queerable eyes. 'Cause girl, you're a fever, running about 103. I'm the match and you're the gasoline. No, I don't care what tomorrow brings. I ain't talking love, I ain't talking fate, I ain't talking about no diamond ring. I just wanna be your best mistake. This girl, you're a fever, running about 103. I'm the match and you're the gasoline. No, I don't care what tomorrow brings. I ain't talking love, I ain't talking fate, I ain't talking about no diamond ring. We don't have like to say I do. We don't need no honeymoon. I just wanna be your best mistake. I'm a match and you're the gasoline. No, I don't care what tomorrow brings. I ain't talking love, I ain't talking fit, I ain't talking about no diamond ring.
Damn.
Boom! Yes, sir!
Thanks, man.
Josh, get off the table, put your clothes back on.
That's what I'm talking about.
Zipper.
Zipper too, yeah, don't forget the button.
That's advertisement. Viagra.
The pipes.
Hey, man, I haven't even been drinking.
Yeah, I know. No, that's great.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Phenomenal.
For sure. I mean, we got you for the rest of the show, too.
Yeah.
You got some more music to play, but let's throw it out there. I mean, if people want to get you on iTunes or wherever they can find you,
iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, really anywhere that you guys download your music, Google Play, YouTube. We got some good music coming out here pretty soon. Just kind of looking for investors, and we got one right now that we're working on, and but this album that we got coming out is just going to be.
I can't wait.
It blows my mind. Yeah. I'm listening to my own music. I'm like, I actually like my music now.
Well, you played a couple of those new pieces out at the last rally too, did you not?
I did. We played two, I believe. We played two of the new ones, and we didn't get to play the other one because we kind of got cut short. But that's all right.
It's still a good night.
It was a great night. We all had fun. The guys had fun. I had fun. I mean, being on stage playing for people, that's what I love to do. So.
Yeah, the crowd was loving it, and the folks here tonight are loving it. And yes, we are an outdoor fishing hunting talk show, but we are not afraid to dip our toe into the other genres and things going on. Right, Tommy?
I like the point. I like the lyrics too, because you made it really clear that it's not about the diamond ring.
No.
You know, and there's a lot of
women out there that have some good mistakes.
Think about the ring.
See that?
Yeah, I mean,
life lessons here.
Right.
Depends on how big your pole is. Salmon pole.
Yep.
Fireman pole. Yeah,
see?
I know where you're going. Okay, we are going to jump out for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to steer it back to a little more hunting conversation. Dakota, you're not going anywhere.
No, sir.
We're going to get our buddy Aaron Peterson's Northwest Guide, on the phone. Tommy, we're going to talk about some of that north in Skagit Valley waterfowl opportunity, snow geese.
Yeah.
Our buddy Mike Zerk's been out there.
Yeah, he's been killing it,
man.
Killing it.
By the way, we're going hunting with him.
Yeah.
Just got to get a day on the calendar.
All right.
He said, when Tommy gets back.
I'm back. I'm back, baby. I am back.
I'm back.
We're going to go north and go shoot some birds. So, don't go anywhere. Jump out for a real quick break. We come back, we'll have Aaron Peterson back on the phone. We'll catch up with him. What's going on up north there with all this waterfowl hunting and what the next couple months are going to look like right here, Fish on Northwest.
An Outdoor Emporium is the largest local outfitter in the Northwest since 1975, providing thousands of people affordable outdoor gear. This summer, make your next outdoor adventure more affordable by shopping at our warehouse-style pricing. We are a local Scotty dealer, offering sales, service, and repair. Located in Fife and Seattle, come visit us today. The outdoors await you.
It's easier than ever to browse homes and connect with an agent on the go with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate's mobile app. With the app, your home search is synced across all of your devices, so you can pick up your home search anytime, anywhere. Take full advantage of an enriched, mobile-optimized map search experience. Use location services to quickly find homes near you that match your search criteria. Draw your own map boundaries to find homes in a specific area, and apply layers to view school districts, neighborhoods, zip codes, and more. The app's user-friendly design makes it easier than ever to find a home you'll love. Narrow down your search results, save your search criteria, and save your favorite homes. You can browse your saved homes in a list view that puts photos and key details like price and square footage right at your fingertips. Or check out your saved homes displayed on the map.
Hey, welcome back to Fish on Northwest. We're waiting on Tommy Donlin, special in-studio guest, Dakota Poorman. crushing it on the old guitar and the pipes.
That's an understatement.
That was
phenomenal.
Thanks, guys.
That was phenomenal.
Appreciate it.
We got people chiming in here. Dakota saying that was awesome, freaking amazing. Younger version of Ted Nugent. Very
money right there.
Very energetic.
Yes.
And I'm like, you have no idea.
Yes.
See, he's sitting there going like, you should have been at dinner.
Okay, next guest on the phone, no stranger to phone conversation, still trying to get his butt down here and join us in studio at some point. That will probably happen when he has a spare day, which is never. Aaron Peterson, Peterson's Northwest Guide. How you doing, buddy?
Good, thanks for having me, Dwayne.
Absolutely. So you're no stranger to slaying the birds as well. The northern flight seems to be holding in pretty well, and you guys are putting some birds on the ground. Let's back up to kind of looking at that preseason forecast and where we are right now, middle of November, and how's it performing based on the forecast?
Well, the forecast stuff kind of went out the window with the COVID stuff.
Right.
They went off calculations and their guests and all that. They didn't really get to do a lot of their nesting and counting like they were supposed to. But with some of these storms that have been around us here the last couple of weeks, and the cold front that hit Canada early for the year, it's pushed a lot of birds down. And the wind we've seen the last week and a half has pushed a lot of birds inland, is what I've started to notice now.
Gotcha. We've had a ton of rain, especially the last week and a half. Obviously, the rivers are punched, and the bird hunting's gotten pretty good. Does that weigh in favorably, or can it be problematic when you get so much sheet water out there on all them open fields that then birds can pick and choose from?
Well, that just goes back to having more fields then in your arsenal. Definitely. Obviously, the crappier the weather, the more it rains, the more it blows, the better it is. Yes, it does spread the birds out, but it does get them off the bay. Mm-hmm. When that bay is choppy and the wind's blowing, they're going inland, find refuge, food, all creeks, swamps, all that stuff, and that's where we get them.
So let's talk about the duck hunting first. We'll get into snow geese in a little bit. What are you seeing mostly? Pintail, mallards? What's kind of showing up on a regular basis?
Yeah, lots of mallards around. Pintail numbers have been down the last couple of years. We are a little early in the season to start seeing a lot of widgeon flight, but Sunday we got into our first handful, first 1-2 man limit of widgeon. So the widgeon are starting to make their way down, lots of mallards. And that will change. I mean, obviously the mallards will be around all year, but the pintail will start coming in and the widgeon will start showing up like crazy.
Now, what kind of decoy spread are you running?
For ducks?
Yeah.
Just depends what I'm hunting. If we're, out in the sheet water or out in the fields, we'll do a lot of full bodies. Obviously, we want motion, so we'll do a whip, a whipper. We'll do a jerk cord with a diver duck on it just to get ripples if it's not too windy. Get those, ducks get a little leery if that water's glass. In the ponds, in the water, deeper water, obviously floaters, all sorts of them. We predominantly run tangle-free decoys. Got a lot of Dakotas, but just depends on the area and what we're doing.
So what's the call progression like? So I've been duck hunting a whopping one time in my life.
Oh, really?
That's it. Yep.
Me too.
And so don't know a lot about it. What is the call progression like? And how close do they have to be for you to start that call progression? And when you're calling, what are you telling those ducks that are coming in?
Well, that's a great question. That's a question that we learn every day in the field. As those birds are going away, they're looking down on you, they're coming in, there's some amazing people that can call that, just blow you out of the water. But to learn from someone that's done it forever and can turn a bird and call at the right time, it's very impressive. Mm-hmm. But when that bird's coming in, he's high. Obviously, you want to get on that call a little louder. They're flying, they're farther away. If you're looking at tails, you get into that hail call, start screaming at them a little bit, get their attention, get them to come back. They start looking down a lot. They're getting close. A lot more of those feeder calls. Start getting into a quieter call. As the season progresses, I think there can be too much calling and too many decoys. But, it's the tips. There's a lot of sayings on when to call them and when to hit them. And it's the direction they're flying and how low they are and how they're looking.
A lot of guys I've hunted with over the years, Aaron, they talk about the birds getting educated. I mean, yeah, we have, newer birds always seem to be migrating down from the north, but you get that mixture of birds that have just kind of taken up that area that they're just going to, reside in for maybe a month or so, unless our temperatures drastically start dropping and it pushes them further south. But do you have a sense that, birds can get educated, and that's kind of the progression of less calling, less decoys, trying to, be a little more subtle on approach as we get further into season, because they get so much overcall, so much overpresentation, and so much shooting at them?
Yeah, I would say the saying for that right there, Dwayne, is stale birds. So when we say stale birds, it feels like we haven't got a lot of new birds down, or you can tell that birds have been decoyed and shot at before. You can actually see in their flight and how they approach, feed, water, decoys. You can almost tell if they've never seen it before.
Right.
Yes, I mean, obviously in the beginning of the season, everybody says, oh, it's local dumb duck. I mean, yeah, you're hunting somewhere that, they've been safe for a year. But as it progresses and it gets later into the season, we do get fresh birds down a lot more too. I would tell people as the season progresses, it's not bring out every decoy you own. It's just finding the right area. It's all about time, scouting, putting it in. Putting the miles on your truck, getting those binoculars up, getting out to the bay edge, flight pattern. What is the flight line? What are these birds doing? That, to me, right there is more important than anything, is just finding out where they want to fly from and to.
Yeah, I think it's there may be a misconception. People might think you just basically show up to the same couple fields or blind locations day in and day out. But
I wish.
Yeah, truth be told, I mean, how many hours a week do you think you're actually out in the truck scouting going? Because you have a number of fields that you've secured to your credit, and that all stems from, building and keeping relationships with folks. And so you have all these fields to survey. How many hours a week are you actually putting in to keep on top of where those birds are and where you can count on hopefully to be in today?
I mean, there's numerous days that I get done with the hunt, shake the customer's hand, and get right back to scouting. I mean, it's a 5-6 day a week, driving the truck 3-4 days a week at first light, binoculars up. The other couple days a week are shooting right away, and sometimes the guide sneaks out the back and goes and scouts for tomorrow, and the other guide stays until the hunt's over. I mean, we'll just say fishing's a lot easier.
No decoys required.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering on the hardware side of the house, what kind of scatter guns are you using? What for the different types of birds that you hunt? What are you using? What are you shooting? What shells are you shooting?
We'll start with duck. I absolutely love 3s and 4s. Getting a lot more shot. Starting to spread out a little pattern. It kind of depends on what you're hunting. If you're hunting a lot more passing birds, a lot more fields, they're not finishing close. You can go down 2s and 3s. If you're in a little tight creek, swamps, timber, ponds, 3s, 4s, as high as 5s, and then you're getting more shot, little wider pattern. Snow geese or Canada's BB. I just pretty much run BB on those. Once in a while I'll throw a 2 in it, stagger them. I'll go 2 first and then BB. I'm running Pattern Master, full chip. And of course the business end, I'm shooting the Super Black Eagle. Benelli.
The Super Black Eagle, 1,
Benelli.
2, 3? 2.
Nice.
Yep. Roger that.
Trying to break. Won't break.
Trying to break it. Hey, before we get done here, let's talk a little bit about this snow goose opportunity. How many seasons you been pursuing snow geese now?
Guiding, this is only our third year on snows. Been hunting snows a while, but guiding customers on snows, this is our third year.
And seems to be going fairly well. I mean, the population does not seem to be. You guys kill a lot of them, and you don't seem to be putting a dent in the population. If you know what I'm seeing year in and year out is true.
Man, those things are those are the love to hate birds. They are devil birds. Yeah, the number, I don't know if it's 20, 30, 40% a year, but that number goes up significantly. But they're also getting farther south, and they're flying farther east, and they're just spreading out more. You know, that wintering range is growing as they're growing.
Yeah.
You know, all these birds hatching in Russia, Wrangell, and coming on down and saying, wow, this is a lot nicer place than Russia this time of the year.
Yeah. I mean, as you mentioned, I mean, there definitely seems to be every year a much bigger, larger showing of them over on the east side. You know, we got guys over there hunting them now that never had opportunity on them before. And you've explained to us before the taxing effort it is to put in to go after snows. Real quickly, for those that haven't heard it before, remind us what time you get up, how many decoys you put out, and the reasons for that progression of decoy spread.
Well, typically I have another one of my guides and a helper. We usually meet around 3 o'clock at a field. You know, anywhere from 2 to 3 o'clock we're traveling, getting ready at a field. Takes a good solid 2.5 hours to set out 1,200 to 2,000 decoys.
What? What?
Yeah, that's why I wanted you to say that. Tommy's never heard that before. Keep
1,200 to
2,000. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sometimes we get rowdy too. We'll get the buddies together and set a spread of about 4,000, 5,000.
Oh my God.
But then you also have to get about 6-7 helpers for that.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then you got to pick them all up when you guys are done.
What was that, sorry?
Yeah, and part of that is because you explained to me one time, and I thought this was pretty spot on, is the way those snow geese come in and the way they take over a field in their feeding progression is how they're always leapfrogging each other in the feeding, and so that decoy spread is to force them to jump forward of the flock, land in front of you, and that's when you're getting an opportunity to shoot them. Is that right?
Yeah, they're very, very aggressive feeding birds.
Yeah.
If you watch a Canadian goose sit in a field or on a golf course, they just feed around them in a circle and they're lazy. You watch a field up in Skagit where there's 4,000 snow goose in a field and they are mowing.
Yeah.
They are traveling, and there's always birds in the air. And it's not just because there's birds joining with them, they are trying to get ahead of the next bird. So it's very strategic, too, on how you just go put out your white blob of decoys out there.
Right.
You don't just put a big circle out there and sit in them. I mean, you can either... I mean, the wind, there's so much strategy to it, and everybody has a different opinion. You know, are you putting a big J hook out there and sitting in the hook and have them travel down an arm in the wind and set up on your flyers? Are you setting a big circle with a whole bunch of pockets for them to land in? It just... It really depends on the wind, where you're at, but yeah, obviously the more of those decoys and the more lifelike it looks, I mean, wind's your best friend for the snow geese.
Yeah.
Those beds to bounce.
You ever have those days, or does it even matter, where you get that decoy spread out there, and because they're basically like a small windsock, so if the wind shifts direction, does it not really affect your spread because the spread of your decoys will adjust to the wind direction?
Well,
not so much.
They will adjust. They will spin on that stick, but it can be really hard to have, 200 snow geese come in behind you, setting down on you, and you're laying in a layout blind trying to shoot over your left shoulder backwards. So
yeah, that would be challenging.
The wind, how it shifts. And, I mean, we're laying in the decoys. I put my customers in white Tyvek suits, and you are laying in an open layout, so not a concealed coffin layout, but an open layout, propped up, and you have bags all around you, decoys, and these birds are spinning on you. You're calling on them. You're hoping they're not picking someone's white face out that's staring up there with their sunglasses at them, and you're trying to outsmart them to get them to circle and come in and land where your decoys are set up strategically for them to land.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
we're talking with Aaron Peterson, Northwest Guide, and we're covering his waterfowl opportunity. Got a few folks chiming in here on the messaging. Aaron wanted to know who exactly we were speaking with, so worth repeating. And plenty of season left. If folks want to get in touch with you, schedule some dates. If you have dates available, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Oh, just Messenger on Facebook, Instagram Messenger, whatever, social media.
Whatever.
I do have one last question.
One more question.
I say that because I got about 3 days left to book.
Oh, you're pretty much solid, huh? Okay.
Yeah. So question, how many decoys do you lose a year because one of your clients shoots them?
Oops.
I'm just curious.
There had to have been someone that messaged that one in.
No.
This is coming from the heart.
That's just calling.
Okay. Yeah. Well, last Sunday we had a couple duck decoys that took a good one. Usually, every season I have someone that's so excited. You know, we'll get the singles and pairs of the snow geese that will land.
Yeah.
They will land at the end of your spread, and I'll say, okay, I'll try to like holler someone's name if it's a single or something. You know, okay, take them. And sometimes they get so excited. There's not a lot of leaning forward and getting up to shoot it, and it's shooting. And yeah. It's not good.
No, it's not good.
That's hilarious.
All right, buddy. Well, we appreciate your effort. We appreciate the photos you keep posting out there on your social media, and you definitely have made a great name for yourself up there. You are booked on a regular basis, and if we have opportunity here, we're trying to figure out that day that we're going to come up and shoot with you. So looking forward to it. But thanks for jumping on tonight. Appreciate the info always. And there are a few days out there, so if you guys want to take full advantage, if you've never run a snow goose hunt, Aaron is your man. Just a pleasure to be with all day long. Runs a first-class operation, and really appreciate your effort out there, Aaron. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Have a good night.
You.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
All right. Yeah, not only is he just so dialed on his fisheries, but he took on this whole waterfowl thing a few years ago because he just has a passion for it, and it's a ton of work. Now I asked him that a few years ago on this because I've seen videos and photos on this decoy spread for snow goose, and I'm just like, what? And he's like, well, they're on a stick, they pivot, they're like a windsock, they're But even so, this 2000.
You're sticking, right.
And you're making this whole field just resemble like a whole. They're like a large white locust in their feeding aggression. I mean, they land into a field and they leapfrog. They just literally, it's always trying to get to the front.
Going ahead of their.
Yeah, they're just a crazy bird, but it's supposed to taste pretty delicious. I haven't eaten it.
What is the limit? Do you know?
No.
Yeah.
Didn't ask him on the snow geese.
It looks like it's quite a few, but
wow. Based on the piles of birds.
Right.
Okay. Fantastic. Always good to check in with Aaron. He's got a great thing going on up there. Again, look him up on his social media: Facebook, Instagram. Aaron Peterson, Peterson's Northwest Guide. With that, we're gonna jump out for a quick break. Tommy, you just returned, my friend, from a couple weeks out there in the woods and on the east side, and chasing some elk, chasing some whitetail. And we need to get caught up on exactly how your hunts went. Yeah. Things you took away this year, what you learned. Now that I got you back from pretty much all those big hunts that you hit the road and said, I'm out of here.
You worked so hard for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I did.
Yep. So now we're back here. We're talking hunting on the home front, fishing on the home front, and plenty to look forward to. We're going to jump out for a quick break and come back, dial it in with Tommy Donlin right here, get caught up on how his hunts went and things he learned this season, all that and more right here.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima boats are manufactured with pride right here in Bremerton, Washington. Arima Boats offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. With literally thousands of Arima boats on the water throughout the Pacific Northwest, Arima boats are a proven hull design that offers incredible fuel economy and all of the amenities that a serious angler is looking for. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Arima boats are designed to maximize deck space while also providing ample seating. Contact us today at Arima Boats for all your boating needs and let us help you get out on the water.
Hey, welcome back to Fish on Northwest. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Donlin and our special guest, Dakota Poorman. You got a lot of fans on here tonight, buddy.
Yeah, I haven't been able to look, so
Yeah.
I'm not trying to peer on his
I was wondering what you were looking at over here.
You never know what Tom's rolling on the backside.
Yeah.
Is that red too? Yeah, well, I don't know what we're talking about.
Tommy, just back.
Oh no, it fell off. Oh no.
From your road trips. Start off with an elk hunt.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the elk hunt. Elk hunt number 2. Because you first you left us
Spent some time in Idaho.
Spent a little time in Idaho.
Yeah.
In the Panhandle, and then this was a Washington-based hunt. This is an area you've gone to before, correct?
Yep, for the past 2 years.
Pretty good hike in.
Yeah, it's a hike in. We go into the middle of the unit. Takes about 4 to 5 miles just to get to where we're going to camp. Mm-hmm. We kind of set up a spike camp, but without the mules, without the llamas, without the goats. We are the goats. We are the llamas, hiking all the stuff up the mountain. And then once we get there, we're kind of hunting from there. And we'll cover in a day anywhere from 8 to 14 miles, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And kind of we talked about like what do you learn, right? What do you take away? And I think this year. The number one thing that I took away, it was kind of reinforced. I already kind of knew it, but one of the things that I would share with everybody is the power of glassing, right? Yeah. And so when we're talking about glassing, really what we're saying is, get up on that highest ridge, find a spot where you can really see the landscape, that you can see everything in front of you, and really spend some time behind, your binoculars and your spotting scope. Okay. Now I've got a pair of 10x42 Vortex Viper binos, and that's good about to a mile. Like you can see elk, you can see, okay, is it a bull, is it a cow? You can see, is it a branch antler bull, right? We're hunting a 3-point or better unit. Right. But really to fully embrace glassing, you have to have a spotting scope, right? The first year I hunted elk, the elk that we ended up chasing, we spotted 5 miles away. With a spotting scope, mm-hmm. right? And we could tell they were bulls, and we used that to get on them. And it's the same thing, right? It was the same tactic. We would, glass, we'd find elk, glass, find elk, and we would typically see anywhere from, 2 to 4 groups of elk per day mm-hmm. on this hunt, right? Mm-hmm. On this Roosevelt elk hunt. And, we saw a lot of elk, we saw a lot of cows, we saw some spikes, and, maybe one branch antler bull, right? And when I say maybe, I saw a bull at 730 yards walking through the timber and at last light one day, right? And, it's a 3-point or better unit, so you have to converge on, a branch antler bull. Yeah. But the power of the spotting scope is another thing too. Once you get into that area where you're glassing, you can say, okay, well, there's some elk, right? I see 4 cows, a calf, and a spike. and you can watch and study those elk. And if you look at them for a half hour or an hour, you know, as they move around and they feed, and you're not seeing a bull, well, then you don't have to go that 3 miles to go figure out, is there a bull there or not?
Right in the timber somewhere.
So it's totally an efficiency game. The other takeaway and lesson learned that I would share with people is the reason that we do this hunt in particular, and how I try to craft my elk hunts in general, is that my goal is to get away from everybody. Like, I don't want to be near a road. I don't want to see people. I want to get to where the elk feel comfortable just being out all day and feeding.
And not having to be pressured.
And not having the pressure. I hate hunting pressured areas.
You guys ever run into other people out there? You've hunted that area,
you know,
for years now.
I don't know what happened this year, but the word got out. Somebody talked about this spot.
Really?
And there was 4 other crazy sets of people up there doing the same thing we were doing.
Yeah.
Whereas last year there was one other, right?
Well, that's your guy.
Huh?
That's your guy.
Yeah.
That's your mouth.
Right there. So, yeah, well, it wasn't my mouth, but
no.
yeah, and so, you know, that's the thing that I always try to do is what's a good unit? I know there's elk, you know, good population. Where are people most likely not going to go because they don't have access, right? Or the only way they're going to get access is if they hoof it themselves up the mountain. You know, so that's a big takeaway. And then, you know, and then after that, it's just covering ground. Like, if you're not seeing elk, you need to move, and you need to keep moving until you see elk.
Yeah.
Right. And that's all there is to it.
Yep. Walk. How many guys you got in camp? How many guys are there?
This year it was just me and one other guy.
Oh,
actually. Yep. Just 2 of us.
You guys did a lot of miles on each day? And
we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was about, you know, like I said, 8 to 14 a day, depending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you left that after, how long were you there?
We were there for 5 days. We had originally planned to kind of spend, you know, upwards of 7 to 10 days in that area.
Yeah.
But there was a big storm coming in, you know, and that basically pushed us off the mountain. And then I had a choice to make, and I wanted to get out with Justine, my wife, you know, and do a hunt. And so instead of going back into that spot and continuing to hunt elk and reset up camp and everything, we decided to hit the east side, you know, for the late whitetail buck opener.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And you know, when we got out there, they had just gotten the area that we were hunting had just gotten about 8 inches of snow right on the ground, and the bucks were not really fully in the rut. Right, when those bucks go into the rut, it's like
dogs.
Middle of the
everywhere.
day, that buck is sniffing nose to the ground, following does left, right, wherever. And that just wasn't the case. Now, it was interesting because the muleys definitely appeared to be in the rut right off the bat. Like, you know, we drove through I think it's Wilbur or Elmira, one of those small towns, on 2. And you know, right before the town, like, you know, right next to the railroad there was a 2-point muley just hot on this doe, like lip curled, just sniffing the air, just following this doe, like chasing this doe. And when Justine and I did our first hunt over there, there was another 2-point muley buck that basically ran a doe right into Justine, like 20 yards away.
No kidding.
And the doe goes, you know, what's going on here? And the buck's like, Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. And they just, you know, my bad. They turned around and they went another 20 yards, and they just stood there, right?
Yeah.
So the muleys were definitely with it. The whitetails not so much, you know. And it's amazing. You can walk through an area, but as soon as it snows, like the second day, especially when you have that temperature fluctuation, that snow, it's like I would rather hunt in the middle of August when there's been like a 2-month dry route, stepping on sticks and branches, than on snow after it's melted and then refroze, because it's crunch,
it's just crunch,
crunch.
So loud.
You know, and so after that first day, a lot of our options were really taken away. It was more like the mode of operation was, instead of hiking around and maybe slowly picking our way through timber, it was set up on a spot, glass, right, and see what you see. And
you were in an area that was it was for that later season whitetail.
It was a late whitetail buck opener. No option on mule deer.
You're in that whitetail unit, so. But you got it done.
Yeah, did get it done. So we were on a ridge, And Justine goes, "Oh, there's deer down there." You know, it's like first light, kind of. It was still pretty dark, and I'm like, "Okay, are they whitetail?" You know, and that's where you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are whitetail does. Okay. And so I'm getting my gun, I'm getting my shooting stick. She takes off, right? Goes down the ridge. And so then I follow her, right? Like I'm a buck myself.
Like you're a buck.
You know, I'm like in the rut or
where's that
something.
dog going?
Yeah. So I follow Justine, and she goes, "That's Buck. Go get it."
Go get it.
I'm like, "All right, babe."
Okay.
All right, Captain.
You know, because at the point she saw them, they were the buck was running, the does were running, the buck was running. I don't know if they were running just to run, or if they saw us or her or whatever, but they were going into the timber. So I go down the ridge, go to the bottom of the ravine, and I look down the tree line. And as I look down the tree line, I can see a doe at the edge of the tree line. I'm like, okay, how far is she? Ranger, 250 yards. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get set up here, because if she just kind of hangs out on the edge, maybe the buck will pop out.
Yeah, maybe it'll drop. Yeah.
So I get my tripod out. So I carry it's a Primos Jim Shockey Gen 3 tripod. I've shot, of all the animals that I've shot in the past 3 years, I think all but 2 of them have been on that tripod. Okay, I'm like a firm believer in that tripod. So I carry it with me everywhere. So I get my tripod out, and I'm standing, and I really can't, because of all the brush and the undergrowth, I can't get a good position to actually sit and actually set up the tripod. So it's basically a monopod.
Yeah.
The doe goes into the timber, and I put my rifle, I'm getting ready to put my rifle on the tripod, and the buck pops out. And I'm like, and I can tell it's a buck. And again, it's any buck. Mm-hmm. We only had a couple days. I'm not being picky. I'm going for meat in the freezer.
Yep.
And the buck pops out. And right as I'm bringing the rifle up to put it on the tripod, he takes off. But he doesn't go into the timber.
Oh.
He goes into the clearing. Oh. And I'm like, okay, game on. And so I'm following him. You know, he's running, but he's, there's a couple different types of deer runs, right? There's the like full out dog run where they're grabbing ground and they're trying to, go lickety split across the field. And then there's just kind of just a trot, I would say, And so he was trotting, right? He was like, something's up, something's not right, but I'm like not feeling imminent danger, which he should have felt. Yeah,
with you in the woods.
And when he runs behind a hill, and I'm like thinking to myself, damn it. Yeah. And so I run up the hill, and the next hill over, and I get to the top of the hill, and I can see him down at the bottom of the ravine, and I already know that he is not gonna let me get a range on him and then screw around setting up a tripod and doping my scope, and being all cordial about it. And so I just take my basically monopod, standing, put it down, put my rifle on it, and sure enough, as soon as I put my rifle on the tripod, he takes off again. And when he gets about, I would say 5 steps into his trot, I was floating it on his neck, pulled the trigger, and just hammered him. He did a big looping right-hand turn and just piled up right there in the clearing. And it was a 267-yard shot, hard shot, and that AccuBond 140 grain out of a 6.5 Creedmoor did not touch a single bone in that deer's body. Yeah.
Literally blew its heart out.
Literally blew the top of his heart off.
Didn't hit a bone.
Nothing. I mean, it was clean, really clean.
Crazy. Dropped him right there.
Yep. And so hardly any meat damage at all. Yeah. Didn't hit a bone. Not a lot of trauma. It was phenomenal. Yeah. And we had our son there with us, and so took him out of the house for a few picks. Went and got him. And it was an awesome event because with the kid, right? He's 8 months old. Justine doesn't have the same opportunity that usually without a kid, me and her would go hunting. And so it was cool to be able to hunt with her, and luckily my father-in-law watched Thomas for a little bit, so I'm very thankful for that. And we were able to kind of do it as a family, so that was awesome. Pretty cool.
Absolutely great. two most popular comments on your great photos that you put up on your Facebook page. Great dear Tommy. Hey, where's Thomas's socks?
Where's the socks? Yeah.
Hey, no, where's the socks? I'm
yeah.
like, oh, are you serious? There's a photo op. Get him out of the car seat.
Yeah.
Get him out from under the blanket.
Right.
Plop him on Dad's knee. Take the photo.
Right.
Go back to the car.
It's funny, but one thing I'll tell you about Donlins, and this goes for generations, is that we run hot-blooded, and so like growing up, it would be nothing.
Song coming.
It would be nothing to go outside in shorts and a tank top in the middle of winter. I mean, I can still see my middle brother today, Chris, who's actually 6'7", he's a lot bigger than I am, and just walking through snow with no shoes on, no socks.
Yeah.
That's man. That's just but no, he wasn't like I didn't have him. Yeah. I didn't have him under my left arm as I'm making the shot one handed. As the deer's crossing.
Hey,
and he wasn't sitting in the snow.
If you did.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But no, I appreciate everybody's concern about his lack of socks. Thank you so much.
That's so funny.
So worried about him.
Fantastic. I mean, you guys got a deer in the freezer.
Yes.
I got a nice, decent whitetail there. It's nice that we both put deer in the freezer this season.
Yeah, absolutely.
No monster for me, but those venison tacos tonight were pretty tasty.
Oh, they're phenomenal. Shing's the master.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sherry's got it dialed.
Well, to her credit, as we prepped that meat today, she said, "Great team effort." So just
well, somebody's got to do the shooting, right?
Well, in the carving and the trimming and
all the dirty work. That's the fun work.
Yeah, she gets those were amazing. She did a fantastic job. Great little recipe to put out there. Venison tacos, man, those were phenomenal. Tender.
Yeah. Well, and I was like, that's why I asked you, did you tenderize them?
Nope.
And you didn't even tenderize them. Nope. That's just how tender that meat was.
Just how tender it was, and
not chewy, just one bite off.
Yeah. It's important. Like certain cuts of your deer, I mean, take the extra time, get that gray skin off of there, get that extra connective tissue off of there, so you got no gaminess to it, and look at your cut of meat and make sure you cut across that grain. Yeah. No tenderizing needed.
Yeah. I actually leave the silver skin on when I vacuum pack it.
Yep.
And then I take it off afterwards because I feel like it kind of helps, protect the meat a little bit.
Yep.
And then of course my dogs love a snack before dinner.
Yep.
So give them the silver skin.
Yeah. Stuff is good. Well, nicely done, buddy. Glad you're back, and
thank you.
Much information and many topics to tackle in the next few weeks. I want to remind everybody, next week, actually, before I forget, we are not having a show. It's Thanksgiving.
It is.
So you and your family, the five of you.
The five, yeah. Not six, definitely not 12.
Can enjoy your Thanksgiving in your home. God forbid you go 6 or more and the cops get called.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We got about 30 people coming over, so it's going to be,
There we go.
The whole Seahawks team's coming over.
Sit in 6 little pods of 5 people.
There you go.
Right? Spread out outside and whatnot.
Pass the salt.
Yes. Best takeaway in that whole deal was the family.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Pops watching
absolutely.
the
Memories.
Getting Thomas out there, or you and Justine getting out there doing it again, getting on the hunt even with a newborn. So it's just good family stuff. All right. I'm going to jump out for a quick break. We come back. Dakota, a couple more questions. Hey, if you guys got some outdoor fishing and hunting questions to throw at Dakota and tap into his years of knowledge, then feel free to do so. Did I say freezer there?
Freezer.
Sherry saying that. Anyway. Sherry. Shane. So, we're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back. Dakota's going to belt out another song. Before we get there, we got a little more fishing and hunting to talk about. All that and more right here. Don't go anywhere. Fish Hunt Northwest. Allied boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Deep V 21-degree dead rise at the transom guarantees a smooth ride no matter the conditions. Allied offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Allied boats range from 19 to 32 foot in length, so no matter what type of heavy gauge boat you are looking for, we have it for you. All of our Corsair 21 foot and larger designs come standard with reverse chine that is welded inside and out with no extrusions below the waterline, so that you will never have to worry about corrosion problems down the road.
Get out on the water today in a boat that you can trust and enjoy with Allied Boats. Contact us at Allied Boats today to learn much more about our incredible fishing machines.
What if there was a smarter way to search for your new home? Introducing the Better Homes and Gardens real estate website and mobile app. This revolutionary new search tool puts your needs first. Narrow your search to what matters most to your family, like school data, school districts, and even walk scores. Get easy access to your local affiliated agent, as well as unique and local insights about neighborhoods and properties directly within the app. With synced and saved preferences, you'll always pick up wherever you left off. Get your smarter search started today with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate.
Hey, welcome back, Fish on Northwest. Wayne and Tommy Donlin, and special in-studio guest, entertainment for the evening, Dakota Poorman. Hey, you just got back from a little mini elk camp yourself.
Yeah, we did. We were, my dad and I.
Yep. See the animal? Did it snow on you guys?
No, it snowed over east by Spokane where we were going to go for late buck, but then we just decided not to because it was a winter storm advisory over there, and he didn't even know we were going to be able to get up to the cabin, so we just kiboshed that.
Yeah.
But we went up Thursday, set up camp, and he stayed up there from Thursday all the way until Wednesday, really, and I only got to hunt for 2 days because I had to play, and but I saw probably the most bucks and the most does I've ever seen in my life up on the spot that we went.
And you were elk hunting.
Yeah, we were elk hunting. It's how it works. But it's funny because when we were pulling up Thursday to elk camp, I was ahead of my dad, and he had to stop and go to the bathroom. And so he's just like, go ahead, go up to the spot. So I was heading up, and I was just taking the road up, and I just happened to look off to the right, and there's a cow and a calf just standing right there off the side of the road, right where we were going to camp.
Go figure.
Yeah, and then nothing for the rest of the time.
No.
There was maybe 3 shots the entire time that we were there.
Were you hunting in a spike only unit? Or?
Yeah. It's like a unicorn.
The spike lottery.
Yeah.
That's what we call that.
What are your expectations tomorrow on Saturday?
Brown down, buddy. Brown down.
High expectations.
Because
it'll be a failure if you don't get one. That's
not a failure.
Hey, because now I'm going to be sitting in between. Oh, you got one, and I got nothing. I got tag soup.
You be the filler in the no-meat sandwich.
Spam.
We're going to go tackle a couple new areas. I spent a little time out there today, traipsing around, just getting a look at it.
I'm ready, man.
Like what I saw.
And I just actually checked the weather just a second ago. It's not supposed to rain tomorrow.
No, or Saturday.
Now it's going to rain. Way to blow it.
Sorry.
What is your favorite recipe, or what do you like to eat?
Oh man, favorite. I'm weird. People think it's weird, but I love lingua tacos.
Oh,
cow tongue tacos.
Oh, okay.
But I mean. But no, I follow a bunch of people on TikTok, and they make a lot of recipes and stuff. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can. And like my favorite is like Steven Ranella. Like I love watching that guy because
he'll eat anything.
He will literally, and he'll kill it, grill it right then and there.
And then he's like, what does the tail taste like on this coyote?
It's a little chili.
When they cooked the coyote,
I did see that one.
On the grill over open fire, burnt all the hair off it.
Yeah, and then ate it.
You gotta at least get all the hair burned off first.
I think they agreed not to eat a coyote again, though.
No, they did agree not to ever eat a coyote again. If it came to it, absolutely starving and had to, you could.
You could.
You're gonna eat it and chase it.
This is not one of them.
Not gonna be that one.
This is not one of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, You enjoy that more than a good, nice cut of bacon?
Oh no, man! I will take a backstrap over lingua any day.
Tongue's really good though.
Yeah.
You know,
It is.
You fillet the
Fillet it open, simmer, like marinate it, and then like throw it in a crock pot with a couple bay leaves, onion, jalapenos, and a little bit of like what do they call it? Carne asada, like the seasoning stuff. Put a little beef broth and let it sit for 6-8 hours.
It's like money. It's almost like pulled pork.
It is. It literally is.
I believe I saw that once again on a Brunella episode.
Yeah.
And what was that guy's name? That got
Giannis.
No,
that guy's funny. That guy's cool.
He had a guest on. Gosh, I forget the guy's name. He survived a horrific electrocution. When he's at Deer Elk Hunt. Anyway, it's a great story. He's a chef and phenomenal recipe. I think I saw that recipe on that episode. Anyway, and charred peppers and all kinds of.
Yeah, man.
It's good stuff.
I'd love to cook and stuff. It's like, but it's like, I don't want to cook just for myself. I like to cook for people.
So you have a couple staple recipes.
I do. I do have a couple
that we'll get you back down here in the kitchen.
Throw them in the kitchen.
Record it up, and we'll throw a little bit of recipe of the week.
I want to see Dakota's liver recipe. So I kept the livers from that elk.
Oh, did you really?
We'll do it.
Yeah, I want to see.
We'll do it.
I feel like that's the test of your chefhood.
If you can make a liver taste good.
Yeah, if you can make a liver taste good,
you can make anything taste good.
Yep.
Actually, to be honest, my dad is probably the best at making it.
Yeah.
Really?
I'll throw him to be like, Dad, come down for a day. And he'll be like, all right, onions, done.
I've done it a couple times and failed.
Yeah.
The liver, yeah.
It's different. I mean, it's kind of, once you get it, then it's like you can't mess it up.
But until you get it, you mess it up.
Oh, yeah. You'll waste a couple.
It tastes like liver.
And you know what? Another thing that's really weird that a buddy of mine turned me on to, hot buttered buck nuts.
Buck nuts. Damn it, I should have kept mine.
I threw mine in the woods.
Dude, he goes, they are like a delicacy if you just like hot buttered buck nuts.
Hot buttered buck. I see a T-shirt in the future.
Yeah,
hot buttered buck nuts.
Josh eats those quite a bit. We should ask him what they taste like.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to throw up. I'm waiting for Josh to throw up a picture and like totally like downgrade you guys and be like, oh, buck nuts, huh?
He does it all the time. Just read the comments.
Buck nuts on the show.
We don't want you to get banned in Facebook again.
Yeah. All right, Mister, you got another favorite song you want to belt out?
Yeah, man. Actually, I'll play you a song that hasn't been recorded yet.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah. This is gonna be on the new album?
It's gonna be on the new album. This song took me about 20 minutes to write, and I was sitting down on my parents' back porch, and I just was super in the feels that night, and it was just like. And then I put it to music, and I was like, "Oh wow,
I like this.
This is like deep." So this song is called "Living with a Broken Heart." So, Living with a Broken Heart. We actually have this T-shirt out right now for it. Okay. But I think you might like it. This is very, very deep cut kind of stuff.
Try not to cry.
You'd be surprised.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right, ladies, here we go.
How you feel, what you can't fix. You try, but nothing fits. You wear a mask so no one sees. Just like me. You drink all night just to numb the pain. And you cry till you go insane. You fake it well the best you can. Yeah, I understand. 'Cause I had walked in your shoes, been let down a time or two. I know it's hard, it ain't worth the fight. You're gonna lose some sleep at night. Sure gets dark. Living with a broken heart. You wait all day for them to call. heart that ain't worth the fight, you're gonna lose some sleep at night. Oh, life sure gets dark, living with a broken heart. Cause I have walked in your shoes, been let down a time or two. I know it's hard, it ain't worth the fight, you're gonna lose some sleep at night. Oh, life sure gets dark, living with a broken heart. Yeah, life sure gets dark, living with a broken heart, living with a broken heart. Right in the fields, man. Right in the fields.
We're going over there and just wipe that little.
Come here, baby. Come here, darling.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. Yeah,
That's awesome.
So you got a handful of more songs to get kicked out here for this new album coming out?
We're probably gonna. We got 3 done so far. We're gonna probably do about 7 to 9 more.
Wow.
7 to 9 more songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right on.
We can get through this doggone COVID thing so you can get back out.
Yeah, man.
It'd be nice.
I'm about ready to move to Texas.
Hello, boy.
Yeah, amen.
Take me back to Texas.
Well, hey, I have a recipe of the week all slated up to get going, but it's already 7:40, so I think we'll forego the recipe of the week and save that till next week because it's in the can. We can use that at a later date.
There we go.
Dakota, remind everybody, all these fine folks tuning in tonight, where they can track you down, find your music, purchase your music, help support you.
Oh, yeah.
Getting through this time for sure.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, pretty much anywhere that's got social media platforms like Deezer, that's another one, iHeartRadio. And just so you guys know, just in case anybody doesn't know, Spotify only accounts for like 0.002% of royalties.
Really?
So one stream equals out to like not even a cent. It's really weird. And so like the more times that you stream it,
Yep.
it pushes you up in the algorithm of putting you into playlists, and that's how you get more spins and whatnot. So just iTunes and Spotify, pretty much. Yeah.
Right on. Well, appreciate you making the drive down here.
Oh man, it was an honor. It's perfect. I love it.
Nice to see you. I just like the fact that after we had Cope on stuff, you tracked me down and go, hey, I want to come on your show.
I do, man. I saw him on here. I'm like, it's an honor to actually open up for him. And I think Josh might have commented on it. It's like, yeah, man, we can't wait to get you in the studio.
Yeah. Sweet. Come on down. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun tonight. Appreciate you making it. And we got a couple days to hang.
Yeah, I know, man.
Find you a deer. That would make some great content for us.
It'd be great.
You out there holding your kill. Yeah, wait, we're going to pull
Especially with the Fish Hunt Northwest sweatshirt on.
We can.
Lay next to my deer.
Yeah.
We'll call them Delphies.
There you go. What rifle are you shooting?
I got a, funny story. I used to hunt, my dad bought me a 30-30 lever action.
Yeah.
That was my gun for the longest time. And then I upgraded to my mom's grandfather's rifle, which was a 270, and had the old loophole steel glass scope on it. And my dad he had a 30-06 and he used that for years, and he took it to Montana on his trip, and he dropped it and it was way out of whack, and so he bought a Savage Arms 300.
There you go.
And he used that for years and years and years, and I was using the 270, and he really loved his 30-06 because it was his grandfather's. And so he's like, you buy me a scope, I'll give you my 300.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I went to Welch's and bought the cheapest one I could find. No, I bought him actually a really decent loophole, and I was like, I showed him, it was like a 3x9 by like 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just the basic one that he uses his glasses anyways, and I got that. I got the 300, and it's got the cool diamond grain into it, and but, oh man, trying to sight that thing in. I put a Vortex 6x24 by 50 on it, so I can literally see about 1,000 yards. I probably won't ever shoot 1,000 yards, but I can definitely try.
You might shoot 400.
No, you can shoot 1,000 with that gun and that scope.
Oh yeah, you can.
I've got 4 Savages now,
and I use a 180 grain, 180 grain Remington.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey man, actually funny story, because when he had this 300, so he borrowed a 300 short mag from his buddy that he went in Montana, and he shot this elk at like, I think it was, he said it was like 280 something yards and whatnot. Shot the elk. The elk literally, he was like, it was in slow motion. It raised up and backflipped.
Fell over.
Just up and backflipped.
And there lay.
Yeah, and that's
perfect.
I wish they all went down like that.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, sounds like you are coming with sufficient armament tomorrow.
Yes,
I'd say.
For a blacktail, it's about the size of a.
From 800 yards away. Yeah.
So
hey, it's better than tag soup. I'll tell you that.
Looking forward to it. We're gonna get out and hike the countryside.
Yes, we are. We're gonna have fun.
We're gonna have a great day. Weather's gonna be decent.
Yeah. It's gonna be good weather.
Oh yeah. We'll be
even if it's cold, it's perfect.
Oh, I like it. I like it. So awesome, man. Thanks for coming on out. We're looking forward to some hunting. And that's going to do it for us this week, right? We're going to wrap it up. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed Dakota's music. Somebody had commented early on, oh, now you're a variety show. Well, Fish on Northwest has kind of been a variety show, and that we get a number of different types of guests in here. Tommy and I work really hard to stay relevant about fishing and hunting and all that, but there are other things in and around fishing and hunting that kind of pull people together. Dakota is a fine example of that. Chief Culp running for governor was an example of somebody passionate for the outdoors. Yep. We talk about the political stuff revolving around fishing and hunting because it's important. That was the opening dialogue with some of that educational.
The more you know.
Yep. God, it could be like an NBC commercial or something.
Right.
I don't know. So we like to change it up. You can tune into a lot of different shows and they can talk just fishing and hunting and how-tos and stuff, but our recipes of the week and a lot of the content we try to pull in here as far as entertainment, educating, and just overall having fun, man.
Yeah, man.
Meet people in the industry, like you, Dakota. So
hey, doing what you do and what I do, and it's actually really funny how small knit the community is. It's like when you posted saying I was going to come on the show, I had 2 people reach out to me like, oh yeah, we know Dakota. Yeah. It's like, you're going to be on my buddy Dwayne's show. Yeah. It's like Bobby and Tom were both commented on it. It's like it's amazing at what it is. How awesome it is.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, we are done. That'll do it for us this week here, Fish on Northwest in studio. We are back 2 weeks from tonight. Yes. Thanksgiving is next Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. You know what? You control your own destiny. You set your own mandates. Bring as many people to your home as you feel safe to do so. Take care of Grandma and Grandpa. Make sure you do it safe. And don't let the persons dictate exactly how you can enjoy and embrace your holidays with your loved ones. You never know. It could be the last holiday with some family.
We just had that same discussion.
And I'm not going to have some guy tell me what I can and can't do when it comes to my family. Right. We know who we've been around and who we are, who we care about, and it's important for us to get that. We talked about earlier, getting that release from everything that's going on, man. This is what is important.
This is a release.
And at the core of it, with all this crap going on, at the end of the day, family is one thing you still have. Yep. And you better embrace that and take advantage of that. So enjoy the holidays. Be safe. God bless everybody. We will see you 2 weeks from tonight right here.